Paul Newman hated him more than anyone in the world. Paul Newman was born Paul Leonard Newman on the 26th of January, 1925 in Shaker Heights, Ohio. Newman was raised in a middle-class family of Jewish and Catholic backgrounds. He was interested in performance from a very young age and was usually involved in school plays. Following high school, as was the case for many of his generation, World War II influenced the life of Newman. He was a radio operator and turret gunner in the Pacific with the U.S. Navy during World War II, an experience that gave him a sense of discipline, humility, and a sense of responsibility. After his military service, he went back to school and attended Kenyon College, and later trained in drama at Yale University and the Actor Studio in New York, where he worked under legendary tutors such as Lee Strasberg. Newman's breakthrough into film happened during the 1950s when he started being hailed as among the most promising young actors in his generation. His early appearances in films, such as Somebody Up There Likes Me, 1956, in which he played boxer Rocky Graziano, showcased his inherent charisma and intensity. But it was playing Brick and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof 1958 with Elizabeth Taylor that propelled him to Hollywood stardom. During the 1960s and 1970s, Newman became identified with the anti-hero icon, playing characters who were flawed but compelling. His acting in movies like The Hustler, 1961, HUD 1963, Cool Hand Luke, 1967, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, solidified his status as one of the best actors of his time. Newman's icy blue eyes, signature charm, and steely calm made him a teen idol, but his ability and commitment to his work won him the respect of critics and colleagues. By the 1980s and 1990s, Newman was a living legend. He demonstrated his staying power with appearances in The Verdict, 1982, which revealed his dramatic range, and The Color of Money, 1986, directed by Martin Scorsese, which earned him the long-awaited Academy Award for Best Actor. Even in his later years, Newman continued to give outstanding performances, such as Nobody's Fool, 1994, and Road to Pitayon, 2002. His capacity to reinvent himself over decades, in various styles, and despite shifting Hollywood fashions, is a testament to what makes his career so remarkable. Apart from acting, Newman had a rich and varied life. An avid auto racing fan, he raced professionally during the 1970s and 1980s, even co-owning a successful team in the CART IndyCar series, Newman Hose Racing. He once stated racing was the only thing that made him feel alive outside of acting. But maybe his highest achievements were neither on the silver screen nor on the track, but in his philanthropic pursuits. In 1982, he helped start Newman's Own, a food firm that committed to giving all its profits to charitable causes. What started as a tiny salad dressing company developed into an international brand, ultimately giving more than $600 million to charitable institutions around the world. Newman also established the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp, a summer camp for kids with life-threatening illnesses, which has already impacted the lives of thousands of families. In 1986, Paul Newman gave one of the most iconic performances of his life when he played the talented and suave pool hustler Edward Fast Eddie Felson in the drama movie The Color of Money. This movie by Martin Scorsese was an adaptation of Walter Tevis's 1984 novel of the same name, which itself was a sequel to The Hustler, the 1961 movie that had first introduced the world to the character of Fast Eddie. Newman's return to that role more than 2 decades down the line was eagerly awaited, and it did not disappoint. He infused the role with a deep sense of gravitas, world-weariness, and understated charm, ably capturing a man whose early ambitions had evolved into a rich synthesis of wisdom, guile, and contemplation of past decisions. Critics and audiences alike credited his performance with its richness and verisimilitude, commenting on how he naturally dramatized both the thrill and the ethical murkiness of the hustler's existence. Newman's performance wasn't a sentimental repeat. It was an acting masterclass in subtlety, proving his skill in coming back to a role with fresh understanding and emotional depth. For his performance in The Color of Money, Newman received universal acclaim that ended in an Academy Award for Best Actor, an honor many felt was long past, due considering his outstanding body of work over several decades. The movie itself, too, was critically acclaimed for its merger of high-stakes drama, deep character development, and Scorsese's dynamic direction, which made it a highlight of 1980s American film. 8 years afterward, in 1994, Paul Newman again amazed everyone with a performance that illustrated his sustaining talent and emotional depth. In the comedy-drama film Nobody's Fool, he portrayed Donald J. Sully Sullivan, a gruff, wisecracking, but deeply compassionate man in a small New York town. The character permitted Newman to examine a more subdued, character-based kind of storytelling, drawing less on the stagey magnetism of a hustler and more on the quiet ferocity and humor of a man forged by a lifetime of experience. Critics lauded his portrayal as one of the finest of the year, with many claiming it was not only the best performance of 1994, but also among the greatest he had ever delivered. Newman's ability to fully inhabit Sully's complexities, his flaws, regrets, and moments of unexpected tenderness was a testament to his extraordinary skill as an actor. The subtlety and authenticity with which he played the part made it possible to perceive a completely actualized human being on the screen, a human being whose struggles and victories were experienced as so deep and real. His performance in Nobody's Fool again confirmed his position as one of Hollywood's finest and most versatile actors, one with the ability to play both humor and heartache equally well, and demonstrated the richness and the consistency of his craft even deep into his career. Paul Newman's first marriage was to Jackie White, a young woman he met in the years following World War II, when he was still finding his footing in both life and career. The two married in 1949 when Newman was only 24 years old and still far from the Hollywood stardom that would later define him. At that time, Newman was working in regional theater and pursuing acting studies, while Jackie herself was an aspiring actress who shared his artistic ambitions. Their early years together were spent navigating financial difficulties, long hours of study and rehearsals, and the uncertainties that came with trying to establish themselves in the entertainment industry. Despite these challenges, the couple welcomed 3 children, a son, Scott, born in 1950, followed by 2 daughters, Susan in 1953 and Stephanie in 1954. Becoming a father while still at the beginning of his career forced Newman to balance family obligations with his growing passion for acting. Although the marriage ultimately ended in divorce in 1958, Newman's relationship with Vida and the children they shared left a lasting impact on his personal life, particularly his later philanthropy and dedication to family. In 1958, the same year his first marriage ended, Paul Newman married actress Joanne Woodward, a union that would come to be regarded as one of Hollywood's greatest and most enduring love stories. Newman and Woodward had first met several years earlier while working in theater, but their relationship deepened when they were cast together in the film The Long Hot Summer, 1958. Their undeniable on-screen chemistry mirrored the connection they shared off-screen, and by the time they married in Las Vegas, their bond was already widely admired. Unlike many Hollywood marriages that crumbled under the pressure of fame, Newman and Woodward's relationship only seemed to grow stronger with time. Together, they welcomed 3 daughters: Ella Laner Nell Newman in 1959, Melissa Lissy Newman in 1961, and Claire Clea Newman in 1965. Each daughter grew up surrounded by the influence of their parents' artistry, values, and commitment to social causes. What set Newman's second marriage apart was the depth of mutual respect, loyalty, and admiration he and Woodward consistently demonstrated. Newman often spoke publicly about how much he valued his wife, famously deflecting questions about infidelity by saying, "Why go out for a hamburger when you have steak at home?" Their marriage not only survived the challenges of celebrity, but thrived, becoming an inspiring example of stability in an industry notorious for fleeting romances. The pair frequently collaborated professionally with Woodward, sometimes acting in films Newman directed, and they also dedicated themselves to charitable efforts together, most notably through the establishment of Newman's own foundation, which donated all profits to various causes. The marriage lasted an extraordinary 50 years, ending only with Newman's death in 2008. Even in his later years, Newman was often seen attending events or simply walking beside Joanne with an unmistakable warmth in his eyes, evidence of a love story that had endured the test of time. Their half-century partnership became not only a cornerstone of his personal life, but also a significant part of his legacy. For fans and contemporaries alike, Newman